Yeah, it's the first time I try this with the flaring kit to make a little bubble at the end of the tubing so I can clamp a hose on there. I don't know. I don't really like this one. I think I'm gonna redo it. So hello and welcome to another video on my channel. My name is George Schlacek and I am fixing up an old pickup truck. I got this fuel line at a junkyard and I thought I was going to install it on my truck because it's a return line. It turns out it was completely clogged, and as I was trying to open this up, I discovered a crack in there. So this, aside from the O-ring that I just put on there, it's garbage. Good thing I got this. So this is the end. Normally there's braided steel with plastic inside, gas line that goes on there, but I got from the car parts store a rubber hose, and it goes on there just nicely. See, a clamp, done. I spent way too much time on this fuel line. I tried repairing the original line. I tried installing the steel line yesterday. Good thing that didn't work, because I would have obviously had another problem. So this is a brand new hose. This goes all the way down to where the line runs inside the frame, where I am planning to use part of the old line because it's in good shape. So why not? The original line was on this side here of the throttle body. Maybe you can see where my finger is. It goes like way down there. You can see the supply line, which is still braided steel. What I have to do is shove the hose down there and see if I can somehow guide it through the same tube that the original line was in. So finally, there, it's a flex line. It's amazing how cold it gets here when the weather gets crappy. My hands are starting to freeze. This is not good. But I wanted to show you what it looks like underneath the truck. Here we are again, crawling under that thing. All right, here you are looking at both lines. The thicker one is actually the return line because it's a flexible line. It's a rubber hose, rubber gas line. I used 2 clamps to secure this. It's not original, I know that, but it's a return line. There's no high pressure or anything like that. I think I can get away with this cheaper. I think you're getting a lot of videos of me lying down lately. So this is the gas tank I'm putting in today. That's almost the final stage of rebuilding this fuel system. There's a brand new sending unit with the fuel pump inside there. Connector. See, you can still see how shiny this has never been used. Still got to hook up the ground somewhere on the frame. Yeah, I already treated it. I don't know if that's a bad thing. But yeah, that's what I'm up to, and I noticed that some of these tanks, or maybe that's normal, they have like a plastic box or protector underneath. When I got my truck, it didn't have that. The gas tank is in with 2 straps. It's a giant 130 liter or something, 34-gallon gas tank that I bought from someone that had been repainted. It looks like a brand new tank. It looks kind of awesome. Let me just show you around, because this is actually the last thing, if I'm not skipping anything here, that I needed to do on my fuel system. So the throttle body is completely overhauled. The gas lines are complete overhauled. Well, there are some parts of them that were still good. And of course the endings that, you know, with the O-rings that are kind of unique to this kind of GM truck, I reused them. So the fuel pump is brand new. Only thing that's still missing is the fuel itself. So I gotta go one of these days here, probably tomorrow, because for today I'm gonna call it quits. Gotta go to the gas station, get a container full of gas, and that's when I'll see you again. However, I just wanted to show you what it all looks like. This, see, the old one, this was stuck, this wasn't proper, so I replaced this whole filler neck. There. You see, you could put the cap in there when you're getting gas. Unleaded fuel only. Doesn't this look good? Now we're going under the truck. I also found that this filler had the ground torn off. I got some ground connections here. That is for the gas pump itself. This connection goes to the filler neck, see, because I think that is important because sparks. It's kind of a safety feature, you know, so that when there's ever like a spark between a positive and a negative, then this thing, it's grounded, I guess. I guess that's why it is for. See the gas filter here, there's still something missing. I'm probably just gonna use a tie wrap or something to secure it in place there properly. But yeah, I believe there's something missing here. Other than that, see, there are some compression fittings used for these lines. Anyways, I didn't film this today, what I was doing, because it was relatively simple. You know, I used some wooden blocks to put the tank on just manually, and then in order to lift it into place, I used the floor jack. The biggest problem I had was with one of the straps. It seemed like it was too short, but I found a longer bolt that really helped. Other than that, it was just straightforward, so I'm very happy about this. And when I come back, we're gonna try and start this truck with the key, with gas in the tank, and keep your fingers crossed, because that's a big moment for me, you know, because before I was only able to just barely get it started by spraying some brake cleaner into the throttle body, and that didn't really work right because, you know, the air mixture and stuff, you don't get it right like that. I mean, this isn't the carburetor that has a float and stuff, so this is, yeah. Anyways, I didn't get it to run for very long, so this is gonna change. So hello, I think today is gonna be the big day that I'm gonna try and start up this truck running on its own gasoline fuel system. Now, there's still doubt in my mind that this is all gonna go smoothly for one reason mainly. This truck had been converted to run on propane as well as on gasoline, and there's some weird and wonderful wiring in there that I'm totally not familiar with. I don't know what some of this stuff is actually doing, and it is slightly different from what this throttle body injection would normally be wired like. But I'm hoping that there's nothing that is really defective regarding the electrical part and the electronics. So I'm just going to follow the procedure that you normally follow when after you rebuild the fuel system. There's an idle control valve that I had out. I cleaned it up. It could have been replaced. Now, I had several YouTube videos that I watched where people were saying it's best to replace it because it's cheap. Now, here in Canada, when I searched this, it's not cheap. So I cleaned it up as best as I could with carburetor cleaner and, you know, a rag and a little bit of really fine sandpaper. I don't know. I hope this is going to work. But anyways, I'm trying to save money wherever I can. Now, to reset this, I have to jump a terminal here on the dash. This is the plug right there. These two terminals I have to jump. And see, here's this wonderful contraption that I have. Primer. This I don't think I'll need. This is LP gas, and there's a gasoline position, and It's out for gasoline and in for LPG. So I think the only thing that is essential right now is this switch, because this thing I actually removed it completely under the hood. You'll see that. But yeah, let's pop the hood open and see what's under there. All right, the idle air control valve is sitting right there. Now this throttle body has been completely overhauled. There's normally an air cleaner assembly on here. In this case, there's also a propane carburetor. See, there's some weird and wonderful box here. Super fix, computer fix. I don't know if this is anything advantageous when you're running this on gasoline. But yeah, my fuel pump relay should be under there. Optional relay, fuel pump relay. See, it's under there. I won't even open this yet. Fuel pump fuse is there. So if there's any problem starting this, well then I'll dig under there. For now, we gotta hook up the negative terminal. The positive's already on. Maybe I gotta fix my starter switch again, but well, maybe it's still okay. This has taken me weeks because I'm not working on it non-stop. You know, I do a little bit every day. Some days I don't, but most days I do a little bit on this truck, and it's not always the fuel system. There's so much to do on this thing, but I want to know if this thing runs. That's the most important. So let's get cracking on it. 5/16 socket here. I'm hoping the battery is still charged. There. That is done. I just remembered that during this gas line redoing, a vacuum line came unplugged. So I'm putting this back. Double checking all the other ones too. There's the return line. Gotta check all this for leaks once it starts running. There's the line that goes to the charcoal canister. Another vacuum here. To be honest, I don't know what all of these do. But I know that if you have a big leak somewhere, then it could cause it to not start or really run not so good. I think everything looks fine. So let's put our jumper in there. Is my wire too big? Maybe it is. Maybe I have to make a smaller one. All right, first I'm gonna turn on the ignition without starting the truck. Now we're getting the flashes. Now we're supposed to give it about 30 seconds or so for this valve to reset itself. Yeah, I don't feel anything there at all. Maybe it's good, maybe it's screwed up. Who knows? I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that this is all the way it's supposed to be. I mean, we got this terminal jumped. And now the check engine light is off. So I'm gonna turn the ignition off, remove the jumper. There, turn this back on. Well, the good news, there's fuel coming out of the injector. Should I expect it to idle perfectly on the first start? Probably not. Yay! Got a reason to celebrate today. This is awesome. It idled nice and smooth, actually. I am really happy about this. To me, it's a big deal when I can start up the engine with the key and the truck's actually running. It sounds horrible right now. It definitely needs a muffler. I am kind of ecstatic, to tell you the truth. So let's take the key. This key, well, I didn't have it before. There was no key to this truck at all. Now there's a key and there's a brum brum. I must have unhooked the gas pedal. Let's see, it doesn't even matter. It seems like there's a return spring that's missing, but you see how this thing is purring? It's charging 14 volts. I got the engine oil temperature. Oil pressure is totally good. No problem there. The water temperature I have to be careful with because there isn't much coolant in there, so we don't want to overheat this. There's a brake thing on, that's obvious because there's no brake fluid in this thing. So let's shut this off. Doesn't it sound like a wow? Yeah guys, there's no brake fluid in this master cylinder at all. I took off basically all the brake lines because they were rotted. I've got all the parts to rebuild my rear brakes. That's the next step in this rebuild. Then I have to do the front brakes also, obviously. And then I can actually put this thing in gear and see if it moves. That's going to be the next exciting day, I tell you. Because right now, I have never put this thing in gear yet. I just know that the transmission oil looks red, nice and clean from the dipstick. That's all I seen. The transmission was coated with coolant and mud. So, you know, obviously there's still a little bit uncertainty there, but I am optimistic. I think I'm gonna have this thing running sooner than later, and that to me is exciting. So I hope you enjoy this video as much as I did. This is, to me, it's the biggest step I've had so far because, you know, the whole time I feel like I'm pouring money into this truck and I've never even really heard it running. Well, that's changed today. So I want your thumbs up. I hope I could say it that way. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, well, why don't you do it now? So I thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video, hopefully with another giant step for Georgie. Small step for humanity, but big deal for me.